In October of 2013, the Smash Bros. Documentary released to critical acclaim that sparked a major catalyst that would change the Super Smash Bros. Melee scene forever. After the release of the Smash Bros. Documentary, a spawn of new kids on the block emerged onto the Melee scene, famously nicknamed the Doc Kids. AbsentPage, or Charlie McKinley, was himself a Doc Kid that bursted through the ranks like no other. In 1 year, he'd become the 6th best player in Minnesota. 8 months later, he'd become the best in the Midwest. The crazy part is that AbsentPage was on his way of becoming the best Melee player in the world, defeating established names in the Melee scene like Cody Schwab, Moki, Fiction, Triff, and even double eliminated S2J at DreamHack 2019, winning first place at a national against Melee's premier Captain Falcon at the time. But on April 5th, 2019, one decision would change the course of AbsentPage's Melee career forever. When this single tweet, allegedly threatening Mewtwo life, would be posted for all of the Melee community to see. After this incident, AbsentPage became a shell of his former self when everything came tumbling down. This is the sad story of Melee's biggest downfall, AbsentPage. In the beginning of Charlie's journey, Charlie grew up as a social outcast, not having many friends in school, his father being in jail for the majority of his life, having fights and arguments with his brother, and also having to take care of his sister who was physically and mentally disabled, all while balancing a part-time job. He often liked to play video games as a form to escape from all of his problems, because for AbsentPage, he'd rather be in a fantasy world filled with unlimited stories and cool characters that captured his imagination to the fullest. Charlie also liked trying other games like Street Fighter to fill his competitive drive, when, out of the blue, he stumbled upon the Super Smash Bros. Documentary that would soon change his life. This left a mark on him, because now, his eyes were set to play Melee instead. The game appealed to Charlie for its mechanics, speed, and execution. I compare it to trickshotting in Call of Duty, where a player presses an insane amount of buttons with the end goal of executing a sick clip. Well, with Melee, it's not just about hitting a cool clip, it's about winning and executing a sick clip, where you can express yourself in any way you want. Soon enough, AbsentPage began practicing Melee, because an upcoming tournament, Hyper Fighting 2, was just weeks away. AbsentPage decided to play Sheik as his main. Why? Well, Sheik is known as the easiest character to play at low levels, in that she has many moves that can auto-combo into others that can set up for a potential kill. She can even do tech chases, which essentially means grabbing the opponent, then doing a down throw and re-grabbing till Sheik finishes them off with a forward air. AbsentPage goes to his GameCube setup and begins playing Melee. What does he do? He starts looking at how-to videos on YouTube for all the impossible tech to learn. He learns how to wave dash, dash dance, L cancel, move around the stage in one single day. The next day, AbsentPage begins to learn the character, grab, tech chase, dash attack, and so he finishes his hours-long practice session with one last Sheik forward air, and just like that, Saturday, August 30th, 2014, Hyper Fighting 2 is here, with Minnesota's players, Slayer, Aero Smash Guy, Chexer, and Triple R, the best Kirby main in the world, all in attendance, along with Wisconsin's #1 player at the time, Fruit Loop. The bracket is finally announced, and AbsentPage has to play against Frog, a Fox player who has been on the come up for some time. Frog says hi, but AbsentPage says nothing. They sit down, and the match begins. AbsentPage loses with the 2-0 in the winner's bracket. meaning that he is now on the loser's side of the tournament. He now faces Cottonmouth, a Falcon player who's looking to show his potential. When the match ends, AbsentPage is out of the tournament. After the tournament ended, Charlie vowed to get his revenge on all of Minnesota to become number 1. There was a popular movement called 20XX where, in a hypothetical future world, everyone plays frame perfect and Fox is the only viable character. Noticing that the best players in the world play Fox, AbsentPage completely drops Sheik from his arsenal, in that, in order to become the best, one must take the dark side. AbsentPage is number 1. The crazy part is that Charlie became number 1 all by himself. No practice partners or online play. Just him against a good old CPU Captain Falcon. But how does someone who doesn't have any practice partners get so good so fast? In some cases, AbsentPage would even be sitting down on a melee setup at tournaments by himself and queuing up a match against a CPU Captain Falcon with unlimited time on Battlefield. That one time at a tournament, he'd start playing by himself at 9:30 p.m. and kept playing till about 4 a.m. the next day. On the same spot, the same characters, on the same stage. When he became the best player in Minnesota, AbsentPage would sign to his very first sponsorship, Panda Gaming, not to be confused with the infamous organization, Panda Global. You notice how I mentioned this in air quotes? Well, it's because he wasn't actually sponsored. Sometimes, when new players who get into an esport start to gain recognition, they either search for an org to sign with, or an organization seeks out players to potentially add to their roster. In this case, AbsentPage alongside Derry, a 15-year-old Melee player at the time, both signed to Panda Gaming and became doubles partners. In the end, allegedly, Panda Gaming never paid or even helped AbsentPage and Derry in attending tournaments or cover any cost of hotels and plane rides. Out of nowhere, AbsentPage decided to drop Panda Gaming as a sponsor until he officially signed with Coalition Gaming in January of 2018, where they would indeed cover for tournaments. Several months later, AbsentPage attended DreamHack Atlanta 2018, where players like Chudat, Bobby Big Balls, King Momo, Toussaint, and S2J came to wreak havoc. This tournament is by far AbsentPage's best performance, putting Minnesota, a growing scene, on the map. In the midst of all things, AP was thinking about his home state, how far he had reached the echelons of this game, and how he didn't have many friends. Everyone knows that Melee is a very competitive game, filled with sharks that will do anything to take your ranking away from you. This obviously occurred to AbsentPage, because during Charlie's rise as a dominant force, Charlie often got booed or rooted against, just because of how dominant he'd become. It is alleged that AbsentPage suffers from autism with faulty perceptual tendencies, but due to him suffering from it, some community members would see Charlie as an easy target. Due to his condition and the playstyle AbsentPage equipped was not the most exciting gameplay to watch compared to other notable players. Sadly, some players in the community made fun of AbsentPage for his imperfections, including the way he spoke, which oftentimes it'd be incoherent, where they'd quote him in the form of memes. On the contrary, AP only had Smash Bros on his mind. That was it. That's all he cared about. It is unmistakable to think that this had an effect on AbsentPage's mental health. But as they say, the show must go on, because Charlie's mission was to win the big one. At the drop of a hat, Charlie sweeps his pools bracket that puts him into top 48 of the tournament. He beats H2A with a 2-1 win, but then comes face to face with a problem. He comes across King Momo, a ferocious Falco from Florida. See, Florida Falcos are notoriously aggressive and combo heavy. AbsentPage has often struggled in the Falco matchup, in that he'd get upset to Falco players not even ranked in the top 100. Several losses include David Q of Nebraska in June 2017, Lil Homie in September of 2017, and Just Joe in the following month of that year. This was a test for AbsentPage, and if he could beat King Momo, then he can beat any other Falco. This is Fox vs Falco, the equivalent of Goku vs Vegeta. Best of 3 set, and the match begins. Game 1. King Momo gets an explosive kill from the first 15 seconds of the match. After the first stock, AP adjusts himself and plays a dash dance grounded approach with tech chases to secure a kill as shown here. This is AbsentPage's bread and butter, because when King Momo spawns with the new stock, AP keeps playing the same game. Dash dance, grab into a kill.
Not too surprising, because AbsentPage also has a really strong combo game. Yes, he does.
All this happened in just 1 minute and 10 seconds. 2 stocks from King Momo gone. Surprisingly, King Momo brings it back and they both have 1 stock remaining. Who takes the first game?
UCF, please. And he just rolls, get back in the center. Oh, and he pushes him off. Gets the shine. Gets the forward smash. Oh, that's really smart to dip low with the shine in the back.
King Momo takes game 1. If King Momo wins another game, Charlie goes to the losers bracket, and this will prove that there is a Falco problem. Now, you see AbsentPage? He's sitting there, menacingly. No emotions, no feelings, nothing. Even when he has upsetted top players, he's stone cold. That is a sign of a strong player. Game 2 begins with the help of Wispy, blowing in the direction of AbsentPage, which helps King Momo in securing first blood of Game 2. AbsentPage evens it up, but also gets an impressive run-up power shield laser that stuns King Momo, which AP converts into a neutral layer. This culminates in King Momo losing a stock that puts Charlie in the lead. During the set, commentators even mention how AbsentPage is Leffen-esque in the way of how both players come across in their gameplay.
Dude, I can't unsee AbsentPage's like dash dancing now that you pointed it out.
It's really, really solid neutral. You can't hit him when he's dash dancing that well.
It feels very Leffen-esque.
Yeah.
With a Shine Edgeguard from AP, he takes Game 2. It is now Game 3. The winner will advance to take on the one and only S2J, one of the best Captain Falcon players in the world. In the final game, they go to Fountain of Dreams, where in this case, one player's dream may live or die. Who takes the set? King Momo gets a down air into a raw forward smash that sets AP to return to the stage, but with an exceptional angle, AbsentPage comes back and King Momo does not get the edge guard, which sets a punish for AbsentPage. This results in King Momo missing a ledge dash on the last game of the set.
But actually hitting with forward smash with Falco is
It doesn't affect Momo because he closes out the stock. But King Momo must be nervous because seconds later, he flubs again.
Oh my King Momo, no, dude. Oh, dude, that's 2.
On the left side too.
That's so sad.
You can see this affect King Momo. But for Charlie, it's another day of playing Melee. Miraculously, King Momo brings it back with a forward air that connects in mere pixels that the commentators just bust out laughing.
Oh my, okay, dude, that was kind of sick because it lasted for so long.
As the game gets close to the finish, both players start to battle it up close and personal.
Oh man.
I don't like that back here.
Oh, he's living. Okay. You made him work for it though. Nice laser, just only the one though, unfortunately. Okay, and 59% last stock.
The match goes to last stock. Who achieves the dream?
Stock, game 3. Oh, and he gets the opening though, and
I think that's it.
Yeah, he DI'd away. DI away on that back air is really unfortunate, dude. 2 SDs from King Momo, but AbsentPage will take it.
AbsentPage wins the set with a 2-1. AP is in the winners finals and comes across S2J. See, both players have actually played in the past, with S2J losing all matches against AP in 2018. Still, S2J is a huge threat, simply because he is known for his Johnny stocks, where one stock could change the whole tournament. Surprisingly, AbsentPage defeats S2J with a 3-2 score, which means AP makes it to Grand Finals at a National for the first time. It only took 4 years for AbsentPage to make it to Grand Finals at a National. Some have been playing this game for 10 plus years without ever winning a tournament. Hell, even getting top 8 at a National. When you get to these levels within 4 years, you have to know that they are on a different level. After he defeated S2J, he is sent to the losers bracket, where he clawed his way back to Grand Finals to face AbsentPage in a rematch, where now everything matters. If AbsentPage wins, it'll be his first win at a national tournament. If S2J wins, he'll bring the win back to California for all of his homies. This is Grand Finals, best of 5, winner takes all.
Nice, that was a quick neutral air. Gets the edge guard, stock 1, going to AbsentPage.
You know, I'm okay with Johnny not going for the shield grab there.
Yeah, you gotta respect your opponent. Oh, and the triple stomp, Johnny.
Then he avoided the down smash.
Right.
He's gonna go for it. Oh.
Nice. Okay. Johnny taking game 1. A little bit of a fist bump. Pop off.
Nice. That's like the whiz roll.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, he's really going for the hard reads every time. Okay.
He's got that one.
Right. Like a fatty tech chase. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Oh, nice. Okay, the side B was gonna go. Tournament winner, and we're at game 5. His first set of grand finals.
Game 5. Last match of grand finals. Does AbsentPage win DreamHack Atlanta 2018? Or does S2J reset the bracket for another grand final set?
Right? That was AbsentPage's counter pick. Yeah, one of the first times that AbsentPage kind of missed his reaction touches, but just a regular get up, no.
Oh, the Phantom.
Oh, but got caught. Okay, yeah, I think that's the stock. So this is potentially the last Johnny stock that we will see at DreamHack Atlanta. Oh no!
Oh my god. And he hasn't landed yet. Okay.
I thought Johnny hit the piece somehow.
Right.
Oh, this is all AbsentPage.
Waits for the tech chase. Doesn't quite get the up smash, but oh, that is gonna be it. And AbsentPage is your DreamHack Atlanta champion. Taking one set in winners and one set in grand finals.
When Charlie won DreamHack, he celebrated with very small close friends, but still kept a stone cold face, because to him, it was just another tournament, but something was brewing inside AP. His demeanor had a sudden change that some local community members started noticing. It wasn't anything big, but there was definitely something that seemed different in the eyes of Charlie. Soon after, the Foxman continued attending big tournaments, often placing in top 8s, and even winning a few. But this moment would be one of the very few times where AbsentPage would make some questionable decisions when, out of nowhere, on March 27th, 2019, Charlie's manager would announce Charlie's retirement from playing the game he loved due to personal reasons and wanting to have his old life back. People were sad to hear about this sudden news. No one wanted Charlie to quit the game, but they understood that life is first no matter what. Now, the crazy thing, that on the same exact day of his retirement, AP would announce his comeback to the scene. When Charlie was playing Melee for all these years, nothing like this was common in his actions. He was always focused on his efforts of playing the game he loved. He only talked about Melee, he traveled in the public transit, sometimes even walked for miles to tournaments without a ride, just to play the game. His escape was Melee. Retirement was never on his mind. Or was it? Now, digging through an archive site, a few days before the infamous incident, some tweets from AbsentPage sounded like he was angrier than usual, even a little weird at times. The thing is, Charlie wasn't someone who tweet things constantly, but in this case, he must have been in a tweeting mood, possibly in a different state of well-being, because this part would be the beginning of the end of AbsentPage's Melee career, where everything changed and went on a downward spiral. April 5th, 2019, AbsentPage was set to attend Fight Pit 9, a Melee Super Regional, but there was something that must have gotten to his head, because this might have been the biggest mistake of his life that resulted in a ban at multiple tournaments. But the community was stunned to see what AP had posted on Twitter for all the Smash community to see. in which AbsentPage describes how Dark, a Melee player from Chile, was the main reason as to why he started playing Melee, where he then proceeds to allegedly want to eliminate Mutaking from this world, as well as calling him profanities. This was shocking to everyone in the Melee community. Due to these actions, AP got banned from Melee tournaments all across the US, including his own state. When he was banned, AbsentPage suddenly announced that he was back in the Melee scene, but was immediately told by the head TO, wisely, that he indeed wasn't. In the end, AbsentPage apologized to Mutaking for what he said, when minutes later, a tweet was posted by the Minnesota Fox main that he was leaving the Smash community altogether. Allegedly, it is speculated that AP began using narcotics as a form to cope with what was going on in his brain, which potentially could be the reason as to why he expressed himself in the tweets shown earlier. As this was going on, the Melee community started to rile up against AbsentPage for what he had said. Many were treating Charlie as if he was a crazy person. Others were concerned about Charlie's well-being. Although his post did warrant a justified ban, people just did not know who Charlie was as a person. He was very much on the spectrum and couldn't tell at times what was right from wrong. After 5 months into his ban, on September 2019, the TOs decided to lift the ban, and he was right back to winning tournaments where he regained his #1 ranking and was even ranked 27th in the world in 2019. Although he was the best, some cracks started to slip in AbsentPage's gameplay, where instead of beating all players consistently, new players would rise up and start taking his spot, little by little. See, whenever a top player becomes inactive, that's where everyone fights for the crown. Sooner or later, someone will take it from you. As the world began to shift into a new decade, there was an interference in the air that affected the whole world, in that everyone now needed to wear a mask in quarantine. This put a stop to all Melee in-person tournaments, where now there was no way of practicing with anyone. So, people had to find their way of practicing. In this case, Charlie just wasn't able to practice or play with anyone. So, what does he do? Just like before, Fox versus Captain Falcon on Battlefield. Since that was AP's only way of practice, he eventually lost motivation and got bored with the game. But, by sheer luck of the Melee community, in June 2020, Melee would experience its biggest revolution by far. And online matchmaking for Melee was now available for the public. Top players had to play online as a way to keep up with the new competition. Everyone seemed to be playing, except for AbsentPage. So eventually, people started catching up, and I mean very, very fast. To the point where AbsentPage's results started falling off. He just wasn't the same anymore. Over time, AbsentPage's results started to dwindle, and even in quarantine, he'd sometimes play with his friends, but they can tell that something was off because Charlie just wasn't the same anymore. It's as if something in his brain suddenly vanished. His gameplay was not the same. Charlie started missing his hard punishes. He was missing his ledge dashes more. He was being beaten more. And so, as time went by, Charlie faded out of the Melee scene and faded into the real world. It's sad that there was so much Melee to be played from AbsentPage that even Hungrybox mentioned how AbsentPage was the biggest missed potential in all of Melee. But the biggest change of them all was that, for the first time, there was a smile on Charlie's face.